Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we have come up with another interesting topic that is regarding controversy going on for last few years but also very recently regarding Tipu Sultan, and in this particular video we are going to discuss in detail what is the controversy all about, who was Tipu Sultan, a brief history about him, and also we'll try to understand in the light of events in the lights of the current controversy the how we try to understand the history from various point of view. So let us start and try to understand about this particular issue. So first of all, we try to look into the current or the most recent controversy regarding Tipu Sultan. It is because in the Maharashtra, Congress leader, one of the Congress leader has come into controversy because he was planning to name a playground in a Muslim-dominated Malwani locality after the name of Tipu Sultan, who was a 17th century ruler of the Mysore state. However, the Congress leader has objected and said that he did not plan to change the name of the ground. The name of the ground was already Tipu Sultan Ground from several years back, and that is why they just want to inaugurate the new facilities in the sports ground. However, the large number of BJP, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, and right-wing workers turned up around that particular occasion and in the Malwani region, and they allegedly opposed the move of changing the name of the ground or also associating the name of the ground with the Tipu Sultan. Not only this time, but earlier also there have been several instances where a dispute has come into picture regarding him. In January last year, for example, the Samajwadi Party leader, a corporator, actually wrote a letter to Market and Garden Committee suggesting that a new developed garden that has been spread over around 2 acres should be named after Tipu Sultan. However, again, Bharatiya Janata Party claimed that this step is not a good step, or they actually contested this particular step because they believe that Tipu Sultan has always been, or in his lifetime was, an anti-Hindu ruler, and naming a garden after him would actually hurt the religious sentiments of the community, that is the Hindu community. And this was the other controversy. So let us try to understand that what is the relevance of Tipu Sultan in the context of Mumbai, because as you know, Tipu Sultan was the ruler of Mysore, which is currently in the state of Karnataka. So there are various regions are there why Tipu Sultan's name is every now and then come into picture. The first of all is because in the recent time there has been emergence of AIMIM, the political party in Maharashtra too, and this political party is trying to utilize or use the Tipu Sultan as someone who can be used by the Muslim youth as a symbol of political assertion. At the same time, it is also seen as a way of the Muslim youth to show the contribution and history of Muslims in India by looking at, or by we can say, talking about the role of Tipu Sultan in the historical context. However, if you look at from the point of view of Bharatiya Janata Party and other right-wing parties, they believe that the Tipu Sultan's name is being used by the different political parties. For example, in this particular case, recent case also, mainly to strike fear in the Hindu community or majoritarian community. However, this point has been contested upon the ground that the Tipu Sultan's name, the BJP and other right-wing parties do not want to associate Tipu Sultan with any other kind of we can say sports ground, playground, or any other kind of event, because they are trying to communalize issues between Hindu and Muslims, mainly to polarize the electorate and to have a benefit in the elections, whether it is a state election or it is a parliamentary election at the national level. However, if we look at the issue in Karnataka, it is Karnataka currently, Mysore is located in the state of Karnataka, and Mysore was the state of which Tipu Sultan ruled over. So to understand that how the Tipu Sultan is being portrayed in the state of Karnataka becomes very important. So Tipu Sultan came into controversy in Karnataka 2 few years back, when again the BJP government was in power under the leadership of V.S. Yedurappa. That time he decided that Tipu Sultan's lesson from the history textbook of Karnataka government should be removed. Again, the reason given behind was the same, because he was portrayed as an anti-Hindu ruler who did a lot of torture, who did a lot of torturing, and also caused conversion of large number of Hindu population into Muslim population. That all issue we'll discuss about that later. But that was the first controversy. Second, the same government also ended the public celebration of Tipu Jayanti, which is celebrated every year, and this practice has started during Congress times since year 2016. However, in 2019, this practice was disbanded by the BJP rules. So overall, experts believe that any such actions where we are trying to, or where the government is trying to remove the relations about a very important ruler, for example, Tipu Sultan from textbook, it will actually fundamentally alter the history of early modern India and actually will create a gap in understanding the whole history in the context of development, chronological development that has occurred since time immemorial. So let us try to understand that what the government has given the rationale behind certain steps like removing the history, removing the name of Tipu Sultan or his history from the textbook, or it is banning the Tipu Sultan Jayanti. So three major rationales are there, reasons are there that are given behind by the government. First is that the BJP-led government believe that Tipu Sultan has meted out a very cruel treatment of the Hindus, and he has also been involved in razing, that is destroying or destruction of large number of temples when he was on his way of conquest, when he was trying to conquer large number of territories around the Mysore region. Second point, the historical record also shows that Tipu Sultan have forced infidels. Infidels is someone who do not believe in Islam. That means in the context of India, it was largely a Hindu community. They have, Tipu Sultan actually have faced these infidels or Hindu community, large number of members, to convert to Islam, which is a case of forced religious conversion. And also, as we discussed, they have destroyed their places of worship, that is the temples. And also, to make this point much more clear, a senior BJP leader Kailash Vijayvargiya, in context of these two examples, have asked or have declared that the Tipu Sultan's place in history, which we read in a very positive frame of light, should be reconsidered, and either it should be removed or a new development, or what we can say is a new findings that we see regarding the personalities of Tipu Sultan should also be added in the history syllabus. However, apart from this, the main narrative that the government, BJP-led government has portrayed in every time now and then, there is a counter narrative also that is given by the opposition parties, mainly led by Congress leaders and other Muslim parties. So let us try to understand what are the counter narratives against this negative image of Tipu Sultan as portrayed by some of the political parties. So the counter narrative is that obviously, which is the part of mainstream history that is included in the syllabus of history in various education boards of whether it is the states or the Central Board of Secondary Education or ICSE. So first of all, Tipu Sultan in the mainstream history is considered as a tiger of Mysore. Why is considered as a tiger of Mysore? Because he was a powerful bulwark who has actually fought a very fierce or intense battle against colonialist power like British Empire, and that is why he is also considered by many as a great son of Karnataka who fought against the British. Second, he also is believed to be a very, we can say, towering figure, a towering personality, because he was considered to be a man of imagination and courage, and also a very brilliant military strategist. At the same time, all this we can understand from this particular instance, that in the short reign of 17 years, when he ruled the kingdom of Mysore, he mounted the most serious challenges at that time East India Company had to face, especially the governor Cornwallis, and he actually it is believed that he has fought such a fierce battle that East India Company was very much surprised, and they have to incur several losses, both in terms of human casualty as well as in terms of economic losses. And that is why the counter narrative portrays this Tipu Sultan as a tiger of Mysore, as a very brave warrior. So before understanding about all these narratives and counter narratives, let us try to understand briefly who was Tipu Sultan and what important role he had played in the history. So first of all, in the earlier time or early phases, Tipu Sultan was born in year 1750 to Hyder Ali, who was at that time a very, we can say, a very strong warrior, or very important, was holding a very strong post in the Vodiyar kingdom. Gradually, in 17 years old, Tipu Sultan fought his first battle, that was the first Anglo-Mysore war that went on for 2 years between 1767 to 1769. He then also fought war against the Maratha kingdom of the west, and he also then participated in the second Mysore war of 1780 to 1784. In the battlefield, apart from this, he also has fought 4 times with East India Company between the years 1767 to 1799, and mainly he fought for such a fierce battle that it is said that he actually caused a bleeding of Lord Cornwallis and Lord Wellesley, who were the Governor General of East India Company at that particular time. Then, in the finally, the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, when he was fighting, he was fiercely defending his capital of that time, Srirangapatnam, and that was the time when he was killed heroically by the British troops. Now, apart from this, if we try to understand the contributions that Tipu Sultan has made in various dimensions. So, first of all, in the military terms, he played a very important role as he reorganized the military, his military along or army along the European lines. That is, we can say modernization of army took place under the reign of Tipu Sultan. Not only that, he was also relying very much on the development of new technologies. And as far as India is concerned, it is believed that the first rocket or the first war rocket that was used by the indigenous Indian or by the people of India or by the military of India was by the Tipu Sultan, and that is why he was inculcating a lot of new technologies to increase his edge in the military battle against various colonial power. He also shook hand with the French government on French colonial power, basically to defend the British government. After that, not only in military, he also made stellar contributions in the sector of agriculture, especially in economy, because he is believed to have developed or established a land revenue system that was based on very detailed survey and classification. And through this means, the collection of land revenue increased to a significant amount, and also for collection of this land revenue, he employed a lot of salaried agents who were paid in cash, and that caused the widening of the tax net of the state of Mysore that time, and the state's resources significantly increased during the time of Tipu Sultan due to his novel practices. At the same time, in the field of agriculture, he is also involved, or this caused the modernization of agriculture, where he imposed a lot of tax break for developing on those areas which are wasteland area. Wasteland areas are those areas which cannot be utilized for sowing or cultivation of crops, and that is why if someone is developing that area into some useful land, then Tipu Sultan also gave tax break to those people. At the same time, he also focused on increasing or we can say improving the irrigation infrastructure of the state and repairing the old dams so that the water availability can be made available to large areas or large expanses of lands. At the same time, in terms of trading, he built a navy to support trade and commissioned a state commercial corporation to set up factories all across his kingdom. And to understand this point, we can see that about 30 trading outposts were established all across the Tipu's dominion and overseas, so that trading can go on seamlessly within his dominion, and also that will lead to more and more development, more and more, I can say, increase in the resources of the state. So these were some of the novel contributions that were done in various sectors by Tipu Sultan when he was ruling the state of Mysore. And that is why it is because of these contributions or because of these steps taken by the Tipu Sultan, the Congress-led government championed Tipu Sultan as a great statesman, and it is also in line with the Congress religion-neutral nationalistic tradition, where they do not want to bring religion into the fore when talking about or dealing about any great personalities, but basically they talk about the works that has been done by them. And it is basically on this particular domain or this particular area where two different political parties, two main political parties of India actually have different views regarding the personalities of Tipu Sultan. So the question naturally comes that in light of all these information that we have understood, how should we try to assess Tipu Sultan's personality in the modern context? So actually, it is believed by many experts that people who complained about Tipu Sultan were generally people belonging to those regions which were conquered by Tipu Sultan in the later time period. For example, the Kodagu, which was earlier an independent state, later on, as of now, it has been merged with the Karnataka. So obviously, Tipu Sultan had, when he was on the way to conquer the port of Mangaluru, as because we developed, he was very interested in developing the navy. So he wanted to have his you can say control over the port of Mangaluru, and that is why while going to port of Mangaluru, he had to necessarily cross over Kodagu, and while crossing over Kodagu, he actually participated in intense warfare and actually caused a lot of torture and a lot of this, we can say, extreme steps have been taken by Tipu Sultan, and a lot of such torturous activities were done by them. Done by him on the people of Kodagu, and that is why Kodagu people do not have a very positive mindset or a positive view about Tipu Sultan. Then second point, as far as his behavior against Hindus are concerned, many experts refute this because they say that both in the Tipu's army, if you look at this, he was not a religious zealot. He did not have any specific preferences about any particular region, because both Hindus and Muslims both were holding an important post, as well as in the military overall were taking different posts in the time of Tipu Sultan. Also, the large number of people in Kerala who were slaughtered by Tipu Sultan on his, when he was on his way to conquer different regions. Sizable number of them were also Muslim. That means we can understand that he did not, we can say, pointed out some Hindus and then targeted them specifically. Both Hindus and Muslims were casualty of his intense warfare and or his ambition of increasing his domain of control. At the same time, many people from the Congress party, all the parties believe that Tipu Sultan should be portrayed as a nationalistic leader or portrayed as someone who has a belief in the concept of secularism. This is also a flawed concept because Tipu Sultan ruled at the time when the concept of nationalism and secularism in the modern Indian context has not developed fully. That means in 18th century, whatever Tipu Sultan did, when, if, for example, whenever he fought the British Empire, he was not fighting to save the country India, or he was not fighting from a nationalistic zeal or nationalistic fervor. He was simply fighting because he wanted to save his kingdom. So in that way, Tipu Sultan was, we can say, not a nationalistic, but a kind of selfish in the sense. And that is why this narrative is also flawed narrative. So obviously, looking at all different viewpoints, what should be our conclusion? What should we conclude from all this debate? The simple point is there that if you look at the historical evidences, we have both evidences where Tipu Sultan had participated in persecution of Hindus and Christians. But at the same time, we also have several incidences where we see the Tipu Sultan being a patron of several important Hindu temples, patronizing several priests, and also he was very frequently giving grants and gifts to the Hindu temples. At the same time, we can see examples of this because he made a very significant contribution or donation to temples at Nanjangud, Kanchi and Kalale, and also he was a very important patron or main patron of Sringeri Mutt. So we have both evidences that we cannot refute that, or we cannot portray his personality in a single color as anti-Hindu or pro-Muslim. So basically what we can say that in the modern context, it does not serve any purpose to view the multi-layered personality. Tipu Sultan did not have a single personality that we can call it as a black and white. He has a multi-layered personality that we have seen by his works or by his actions in different fields or different spheres. And that is why we should not try to see him only through a narrow prism of morality as well as religion. And that is why it is not necessary that he be judged only in terms of either being a hero or a tyrant. So the best way forward should be that we should try to include all the relevant information regarding the personality of Tipu Sultan in the syllabus rather than coloring or portraying him as a hero or portraying him as a villain. A balanced approach should be adopted. A balanced personality view of his personality should be included in the syllabus so that people can decide for themselves that how do they want to see the Tipu Sultan in their own point of view. So that is all about this particular topic. I hope you understood about the whole issue that we have discussed. We'll come back soon again with another interesting topic. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.